Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Izzatul Amira binti Baharudin.
My name is Siti Nurhamzah binti Aziz.
I'm Siti Hajaniwara binti Azwan Bu.
Today, me and my friends would like to explain about the external audit in Chapter 3. So, what is external audit? An external audit is a process via which an independent body examines the financial statement prepared by any business. In the majority of the cases, an external audit will take place as a legal requirement. The difference between an internal and external audit is to identify of the people carrying out the analysis of the financial statement, with an internal audit, as the name suggests, being performed by individual based on the business equation. The nature of the external audit, which is, as the term defines suggests, the objective of the external audit is not to draw up an exhaustive list of every possible factor that could influence of the company. Rather, it is objective to identify the main variable that provide practical answers. Company must respond to factors both offensively by defensively by formative strategies that take advantage of external opportunities or reduce the impact of potential issue. You can see from the figure, for the establishment of any business, management strategy is the most important element. The comprehensive strategic management model is defined as the basic strategic tool that helps to develop the vision, mission and objective for the development of any business. It truly analyzes the external and internal environment for the better execution of the strategic plan. Business manager must have a clear vision of the requirement for the successful business. And effective leadership must start with a clear vision and mission that serve as a base for the development of business. A sound strategic model has a key components. Their present affect the quality of the strategy. Business do not operate in a vacuum and they are influenced by forces beyond their control. How they respond and how quickly they respond to these external forces can make the difference between success and failure, especially today's fast-paced business climate. We can organize the external forces that affect business into the following 6 categories. The first one, as you can see, is economic forces. Second, social, cultural, demographic and natural. Third, environment forces. Fourth, political, governmental and legal forces. Fifth, technological forces. Sixth is competitive forces.
Process of performing an external audit. Firstly, appointment of the auditor. Shareholders need to ensure that the person is independent from the affair of company. A firm or an individual is recommended by the auditor committee of the company on the basis various factors filtered by the committee. Such recommendation is placed by the board of directors of the company in front of the shareholder for their approval in the annual general meeting. Secondly is confirmation by auditor. After appointment by a company, auditor ensure his independence is at his end. He or she check whether the said appointment can be accepted. If everything is fine, he provide confirmation to the company. The company need to inform the said appointment of the governing body. Thirdly is audit engagement. A formal engagement contract is made between the company and the auditor. Such a contract enumerates the audit objective independent of the auditor responsibility of each party audit fee to be paid, such as that everything is clear between the two parties. Fourth is audit planning and execution. Here, the main task of the auditor starts. He or she needs to prepare an audit plan first, containing deadline for each area and the overall deadline for completion of the audit. Once the plan is in place, the auditor prepare audit program for the execution of the audit. He also assess the significant risk in the financial statement of the entity. 5. Collection of evidence. As per the audit program, the auditor need to collect evidence to support his opinion in the audit report. Such evidence need to be cooperative in nature. 6. Audit report. The signing of the audit report is the last step in the external audit process. Here, the process for the said year gets complete in its entire. Auditor gives his opinion as per his judgment of the financial statement.
The industrial organization IO view, which is a push to competitive advantage, advocates that external industry factors are more important than internal factors in firm for achieving competitive advantage. The external environment determines the action a firm can take. Firm performance is based more on leadership properties, which is the economics of scales, barrier of to market entry, product differentiation, the economy and level of competitiveness.
Advantage of a weak dollar. First, traveling abroad is cheaper. American holding US dollar can see those dollar go for the greater degree of buying power overseas. because local price in foreign countries are not influenced greatly by change in the US economy. A strong dollar can buy more goods when converted to the local currency. Third is important are cheaper. Goods produced abroad, the import to United States will be cheaper if the manufacturer currency fall in value compared to the dollar. Third is multinational that do business in the US benefit. Foreign companies that do a lot of business in US and their investor will benefit. Multinational corporations that have a large number of sales in the US and earn income in dollar will see gain in the dollar translate to gain on their balance sheet. Fourth is status as world reserve currency is bolstered. The status of the dollar as a world reserve currency is bolstered with a strong dollar. While some countries, including Russia, Iran, and China, have questioned the status of the US dollar as the de facto world reserve currency, a strong dollar helps keep its demand as reserve high. The advantage of a strong dollar. First, tourist the US dollar is more expensive. Visitors from abroad will find the price of goods and services in America more expensive with a stronger dollar. Business traveler and foreign living in the US. Secondly is exporters suffer. Just as import become cheaper at home, domestically produced goods become relatively more expensive abroad. Third, US companies conducting business abroad are hard. Companies based in the US that conduct a large portion of their business around the globe will suffer as the income they earn from foreign sales will decrease in value on their balance sheet. Fourth, emerging market economy are negatively impacted. Foreign governments that require US dollar reserve will end up paying relatively more often those dollars. This is especially important in emerging market economies.
So for the next is about social, cultural, demographic and natural environment process. So the organization in every industry are affected by the social, cultural, demographic and natural environment process. They are changing everywhere and the organization should be ready to adapt to these changes because social forces show the organization what are the consumer preference and how they accept the offered service or product in a new market. It's necessary to understand these forces in order to get a competitive advantage. Some of the social forces that affected our industry that are US fact, that is aging population, less white, widening gap between rich and poor. In year 2025 is 18.5 population more than 65 years, and for the year 2075 is equal no ethnic or racial maturity. So in the facts, the world population will be 7 million and 8 billion by 2028 and 9 billion by 2054. And for the US population is more than 310 million. It's the political, government and legal force. The increasing global in the interdependence among economics, market, governments and organizations make it imperative that firms consider the possible impact of political variables on the formulation and implementation of competitive strategies. Next is American Labor Union. American Labor Union is the extent that a state is unionized can be significant political factor in strategic planning decision as related to manufacturing, plant location and other operational matters. The size of American labor unions has fallen sharply in the last decade due the large part to erosion of the US manufacturing base.
Characteristic of the most competitive company. Market share matters. Use the vision or mission as a guide for all decisions, whether it's broke or not, fix it, make it better. Continually adapt, innovate, improve. Acquisition is essential or to grow. People make a difference, strive to stay cost competitively on a global basis. Competitive Intelligence Program, a systematic and integral process for gathering and analyze information about the competition, activities and general business trend to further a business own goal. The objective is to provide a general understanding of an industry and its competitors, to identify areas in which competitors are vulnerable and to assess the impact strategy action would have on competitors. To identify potential moves that competitors might make that would endanger firm position in the market. Market commonality and resource similarity. Market commonality, the number and significance of market that a firm competes in with rivals. It happens when a firm and competitors operate in the same market. For example, in financial industry, firms compete for access to capital, resource similarity, and in the food industry, firms compete over access to customer group. Resource similarity, the extent to which the type and the amount of a firm's internal resource are comparable to a rival. It occurs when one firm's tangible and intangible resource look like a competitor's in both types and amount. Market commonality happens when a firm and its competitors operate in the same market.
Next is the 5 forces model of competition. So for the Porter's 5 force is a business analysis model that helps to explain why various industries are able to sustain different level of profitability. So the model was established in Michael E. Porter's book in Competitive Strategy Technique for Analyzing Industries and Competitors in 1980. The 5 force model is widely used to analyze the industry structure of a company as well as its corporate strategy. So Porter identified 5 undeniable forces that play a part in shaping every market and industry in this world, with some caveats. So the 5 forces are frequently used to measure the competition intensity, attractiveness, and profitability of an industry or market. So the 5 forces are, the first one is a competition in the industry. So the first of the 5 forces refer to the number of competitors and their ability to undercut a company. So the larger the number of competitors along the number of equivalent products and services they offer, so the lesser the power of a company, supplier and buyers seek out a company competition if they are able to offer a better deal or lower prices. So conversely, when the competitive rivalry is low, a company has greater power to change higher price and set a term of deals to achieve higher sales and profits. So the next one is the potential of new entrants into an industry. So a company power is also affected by the force of new entrants into its market. So the less time and money is cost for a competitor to enter a company's market and be an effective competitor, the more an established company position could be significantly weakened. So an industry with strong barriers to entry is ideal for an existing companies within that industry, since the company would be able to charge higher prices and negotiable better terms. The third one is the power of suppliers. So the next factor in this 5 forces model addresses how easily suppliers can drive up the cost of inputs. It is affected by the number of suppliers of key inputs of a good or services, how unique the inputs are, and how much it would cost a company to switch to another suppliers. So the fewer suppliers to an industry, the more a company would depend on a supplier. As a result, the supplier has more power and can drive up input costs and push for other advantage in trade. So on the other hand, when there are many suppliers or low switching costs between rival supplier, a company can keep its input costs lower and enhance its profits. The next is the power of customer. Power of customer is the ability that customer have to drive prices lower, or their level of power is one of the 5 forces. It is affected by how many buyers or customers a company has, how significant each customer is, and how much it will cost a company to find a new customer or market for its output. A smaller and more powerful client base means that each customer has more power to output. A smaller and more power client base means that each customer has more power to negotiate for lower prices and better deals. A company that has many smaller independent customers will have an easier time charging prices to increase profitability. So the last one is the trade of substitutes. The last of these 5 forces 5 focuses on substitutes. Substitutes, goods or services can be used in a place of company's product or services post or trade. So company that produce goods or services for which where are no clause, substitutes will have more power to increase prices and lock in favorable terms. When clause substitutes are available, customer will have the option to forge buying a company product, and company power can be weakened.
Source of external information. Unpublished source include customer survey, market research, speeches at professional and shareholder meeting, television program, interview, and conversation with stakeholder. Published source of strategy information include periodical journal report, government document, abstract, book, directors, newspaper, and manuals. Forecasting tool and technique forecast. First, education assumption about future trend and event. Then, quantitative and qualitative technique.
For the making assumption is the best present estimate of the impact measure of external factors, over which the manager has a little if any control, but which may exert a significant impact on performance or the ability to achieve desired result. As the external factor evaluation EFE matrix and allows strategies to summarize and evaluate economic, social, cultural, demographic, environmental, political, governmental, legal, technological, and competitive information. EFE matrix indicates whether the firm is able to effectively take advantage of existing opportunities along with the minimizing of the external risks. Similarly, it will help the strategists to formulate new strategies and policies on the basis of existing position of the company. External factors are extracted after deep internal analysis of external environment. Obviously, there are some goods and some bad for the company in the external environment. That's the reason external factors are divided into categories, which is opportunities and risks. Opportunities are the chances exist in the external environment. It depends from whether the firm is willing to exploit the opportunities. Maybe they ignore the opportunities due to lack the resources. Risks are always evil for the firm. Minimum no risks in the external environment open many doors for the firm. Maximum number of risks for the firm reduce their power in industry. Developing an EFE matrix is interactive process which works conceptually very much the same way like creating the IFE matrix.
So the EFE matrix steps is developed in 5 steps. That is, the first one is list key external factor as identify the external audit purpose. So this is include a total of from 10 to 20 factors, including both opportunities and threats affecting the firm and its industry. So list of the opportunity first and then the threats. So be as specific as possible using percentage, ratio, and comparative numbers whenever possible. The second is to assign to each factor a weight that range from 0.0, that is not important, to 1.0, very important. So the weight indicates the relative importance of that factor for being successful in the firm's industry. Opportunities often receive higher weights than threats, but threats can receive high weight if they are especially. So that's all from us for this chapter, external audit. Thank you.